Ready to open the hood? UseTool for the tutorials.
And for car parts, the right idea is the Mr. Auto app. Easy, fast, and with better prices than on the website.
You will find the TRW inner and outer tie rods used in the video through the link in the description. Turn your engine off and pull up the handbrake. To be able to change the inner and outer tie rod on your vehicle, you must lift the front of the car and remove the wheels to gain complete access to the steering system. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels. Raise the front of the vehicle and put it in the two-axle stands. We strongly suggest watching the tutorial, raising your vehicle safely before carrying out this step. You will then be able to take off the wheels. Don't forget to slide them under the vehicle. You can now see the outer tie rod end. As the components to be removed are very often seized up, don't hesitate to brush and to use penetrating oil to facilitate the operation. With a marker, trace a line between the axle joint and the tie rod end. It will help later during the disassembly and reassembly process. Using a 22mm spanner, release the holding nut on the tie rod end. Hold the tie rod axle joint with a 21 spanner to prevent it from turning. The lock nut is there to prevent any rotation of the two components towards each other, which could have an impact on the alignment of your vehicle. Using a 17mm spanner, release the holding lock nut on the tie rod end. It is now time to release the tie rod end from its socket. To do this, use a ball joint remover, which should ease the operation. Paying close attention to the point of reference, unscrew the tie rod end, counting the number of turns necessary to extract the tie rod end. This will allow you to find an approximate setting when reassembling. For greater accuracy, we advise you to measure the distance between the lock nut and the end of the tie rod ball joint using a caliper. In any case, an alignment check will have to be carried out by a professional soon after having performed this operation. Remove the lock nut from the axle joint. With pliers, remove the external metallic clip on the protective sleeve of the tie rod axle joint. Remove the inner collar from the sleeve. With a cutter, cut the external part of the sleeve so you can remove it. Remove the sleeve. Using a tie rod ironer extractor, a specific tool for carrying out this job, you can now loosen everything without difficulty. To do this, insert the tool up to the fixed part of the tie rod, then, with the socket wrench and a long extender, force it in an anti-clockwise direction. If the tie rod axle joint is equipped with marks, release them using adjustable spanners.
Hi, it's Theo from UseTool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We would be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.
You will find the TRW parts and products used in the video in the link in the description. Take the new axle joint and unscrew the lock nut provided with it. Before installing the new axle joint, apply a medium thread locker to prevent unintentional loosening. Still using the same tool or using an adjustable spanner, block the tie rod axle joint, but in a clockwise direction this time. Finish off the tightening with a Torx wrench. Then remove the tool. Now fit the new sleeve and pre-install the collar supplied in the kit onto it. Apply silicone grease to the part of the tie rod axle joint that will be in contact with the sleeve. To make it easier to place the sleeve in its slot, you can turn the wheels so that the sleeve is easier to thread into its slot. You can now crimp the collar with a special tool or with pliers. Then, put the external clip back in place. Screw the lock nut back on until the distance measured with the caliper is reached. Using a wire brush, scrub the pivot, then apply silicone grease to the flat part that will be in contact with the tie rod bellows. Do not grease the inside of the cone. Take the new tie rod end. Replace the tie rod axle joint until it touches the lock nut. Place the tie rod end into the pivot. Reinstall the nut supplied with the new part and tighten it using a 17mm spanner, a ratchet and a Torx 30 bit. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Finalize the tightening of the lug nut by holding the tie rod end with a 21mm spanner to avoid damaging it. Then, you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. During this operation, you will work on the steering system of your vehicle. Checks on tyre alignment, when carried out by a professional, will guarantee that your steering system has been perfectly aligned and is in good working order. Put your vehicle back on the ground before properly fixing them in place. Operation completed.
Hi, it's Theo from UseTool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We would be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.